it's been a very long time since I've done a tarot reading publicly. But I feel drawn to make this for fun. And if anyone sees it, great. If no one sees it, that's fine. Maybe it's for me. I don't know. Not really. I'm not going into this with that intention. But I feel awkward. I kind of don't know how to start. My desk, a mess. Okay? My office, not set up because I recently moved. And it was a big move. Let's see. Let's just get the pleasantries out of the way in case you are a subscriber. I have short hair now. It used to be shorter, and this is like growing out. I'm married. I have an amazing husband. I have a lot more cats now. I moved from a very hot climate to a very cold climate 5.5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago. Life's great. No complaints, except for everything that's going on outside my life that I can't control, but you know, and yeah, I felt drawn to make this. So here we are. This is going to be a collective reading. I don't know if I want to do a pick a card reading. It feels like more work. And if I want to do this, I got to just kind of do it, you know? So yeah, let's jump into it. Keep in mind, maybe some messages won't resonate and others will. Maybe the whole reading will resonate. Maybe none of it will resonate. It's okay. There's no pressure. Part of the reason why I stopped posting these is because I wasn't very proud of the stuff I was producing, and life as well, I guess. The fallout from like a pandemic, you know. But if I have things up on my page that I don't like, I can always create stuff that's more aligned, right? That's kind of how I'm feeling. My style of reading is very different now. And yeah, why not? Let's just give it a go. Okay, so I was shuffling before I got on camera. I haven't pulled all the cards yet, but I got the Seven of Cups. And that's kind of where I'm going to use as a jumping off point. So you have the Seven of Cups, right? Let's take a look at her. She has a lot on her mind, but kind of because it's cups, it's like coming from an emotional place. And I'm really sorry if the camera's shaky. I'm doing my best, y'all. But yeah, she might have a lot on her mind. She might have a lot of different things going on. She might be feeling confused. She might be feeling a lot of different things because the state of the world is also kind of weird right now. This could speak to a broader scale too, I guess. We won't get into that here though. I'm going to try to avoid, I mean, it's hard because you can't really avoid what's happening outside your window. You know, I'm not trying to act like we're all just on the internet. But there is kind of there's a general energy, right? That I think a lot of people could relate with right now. So keep that in mind, but let's focus on a more personal message too. So yeah, this could be somebody who is procrastinating. It could be like procrastinating that feels justified though, because you're like, well, I want X, Y, and Z to happen, and I want blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of, I think, why I rambled a little bit in the beginning with like where I've been and why I haven't been posting. Because like, I've thought about doing this for months. Even before I moved, I was thinking about doing this. Being in a new space is very inspiring. You can really see my piercing scar on camera. That's really funny. Okay. Anyway, sorry, it's been a minute. But yeah, this is like you wanting to enact something, wanting to make a decision. Like this is a desire on some level, but it's also kind of feeling like, I don't know if I can, I don't know if I should, but I also feel like there's some advice here in terms of like, are you thinking about it longer than it would take to do the thing? Does that make sense? Like, I know I'm personally really guilty of that with cleaning dishes. I will put it off all day until I have to cook. even though I like to do dishes, it's something I enjoy doing, which is also like, why am I putting it off? But by the time I actually do the dishes, it only takes like 5-10 minutes because, whatever. And I'm like, I wasted hours feeling guilty for not doing the thing when like the thing was just so easy to do, kind of. So yeah, like I said, this is a jumping off point. Feeling like there's a lack of direction, or even just feeling like unsure of a step to take, but like really the step is to just do the thing imperfectly as well. This could also be like feeling like you're at a point in your life where maybe you're not super thrilled about the things you're surrounded by. And there can be this part of you that is frustrated, is actually what I pick up on. But it's like this almost frantic frustration. It's like this recurring thing that keeps happening in your life on some level. Like whether it's, you left a job because it was really draining your mental health. You get to a new job, you feel really invigorated, and then like 6 months in, you're like, oh my God, this might actually be worse than where I was. There's like that element to it. Or it's like you have people around you who maybe are well-intended. Like I don't see like maliciousness, but I see this sense of disconnect where maybe it's like I fit really well in with these circles before, and now I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like I don't relate to these people. I don't feel connected. I don't feel like there's a mismatched energy, right? So let's see kind of what else. And I can see that it might be like multiple elements of your life or multiple people that are kind of creating this sort of pull. Yeah, there just kind of feels like there's unrest, And also, like I said, cups, emotions, a lot of emotions are tied up in that. And it's not good or bad. It's just kind of like, what do I do? Like, that's like how it feels to me. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And it's amplified by what's happening, externally as well. Okay, let me see. What else wants to show up here that can give some guidance, confirmation, anything really? We'll see what comes up. A sense of urgency, but like it's that thing where you're like, put your shoulders down, there's no rush. Like there's action needed, but there isn't an actual, like the rush is artificial. So it's kind of, it's reminding me of working for corporate America, to be honest. It's that feeling of like, why are we so pressed to like send an email that's about another email, that's about a meeting we went to, that we're now checking, like there's this sort of like, no one's gonna die if, you eat your lunch and like don't check your phone for 30 minutes on your lunch break. Like it's that sort of, whether or not you work in corporate America, that's kind of just the vibe. It's like I'm seeing someone like pumping their gas and feeling frustrated that it's not going faster. And you're like, it's gonna go how fast it goes. I don't know. Like so there's kind of that reminder of just like, why am I rushing through the grocery store? Why am I rushing? Which, yeah. Like taking your coffee and drinking it outside and listening to the birds sing, Okay. Knight of Cups. Alrighty. Ooh. Okay. And much like my advice, I am probably going to take my time sitting with the cards. So if you want to speed up, you can speed up. Let's see. Knight of Cups. I could see this as a romantic thing. Like maybe you're, confused about that. I'm going to look at this more broadly, where Knight of Cups, invigorating. It's a message, right? It's like you got something to say, you're putting your heart on your sleeve, and you're going out there and you're doing it. And there's risk involved with that. At least what I'm seeing here. There is a feeling of, well, one wrong move and the whole thing crumbles. Or in this example, he's surfing. And it makes me think of like how easy it is to fall off of a surfboard. You know what I mean? Like, he's very good at that. You know what I mean? Like this zombie is very good at surfing and holding a brain. So eating and surfing, multitasking, if you want to look at it that way. But there's also kind of something about, well, even like someone really good at something can fall and falter, you know, like make a mistake. And it's a knight, so it's not a expert necessarily. This is more somebody who's learning, but like is not a novice. So in terms of like, let's say you have creative endeavors that you want to go after, but maybe you're feeling a little like you can't put yourself out there. This is encouraging that action, but like with no strings attached, because unfortunately the Knight of Cups can come with strings attached. This can be somebody who like is really, how do I say this? Like, it's kind of an immature energy that I'm picking up on, but it's that feeling of, like wanting something, but for the service of self, right? So it's kind of like this energy can be immature in that sense where it's like, well, I just want this thing to happen because I want it. And I don't really care about how it impacts other people. So that's something to be aware of, because I can see that action might have consequences, right? But also this is kind of a no strings attached in a positive way too, where it's like, yeah, I want to try to learn how to sew, right? Or crochet, or I want to write, I want to challenge myself to write poems every day for 30 days, or I want to learn how to surf, right? Like there's that sort of thing where it's like, okay, well, you have this desire, this thing that has caught your attention, which maybe feels kind of confusing, right? Like if we're going back to that base energy. But this also is like feeling confident enough to do it without thinking about what the outcome might be. I know I experienced this in my life, and it's usually when I pick up a new craft where I'm like, I want to be making things, but I'm feeling too intimidated to like go to my paints or to like come up with a whole new concept. So let me try something else and let me get the juices going. And when you're a beginner, when you're a novice, like it's okay if it's bad, right? And in this case, it's like, okay, and maybe I'm going back to my original point here where it's like, maybe you want to put your heart on your sleeve in some way. Maybe you want to share something, whether it's creativity, art, whatever, some music, like, you know, there's things there that it could be. Maybe you want to have a conversation with somebody. Maybe, like I said, there's kind of this frustration and like these people that are kind of all up in your head, like things people have said that maybe you're having a hard time letting go of, or, you know, it could be, it's kind of what I feel like it is. I kind of feel like it's like somebody was really critical of you or something, or somebody made some sort of remark, and like there's a frustration, you want to get that off your chest, and you're feeling like dissatisfied with the situation as a whole, I can see too. So this is kind of a reminder of like, okay, what do you have to say? Like maybe you should go say it. Maybe you should communicate that. If you want to write a poem, like just write it, just put it down. Just it like whether people see it, whether people don't see it, like it doesn't matter. If it's good for you, do it. Because maybe that's in that self-serving way that I was talking about, where it's like, I need to do this because like I need to prove to myself that I can, right? He's having fun. I feel like he's having fun. He's having fun doing it. This could also be, you know, Somebody who has a hard time growing up too, and in that case it does kind of feel like an external, like another person. Unless you're having a hard time growing up, that's okay too. But like, maybe you were dealing with somebody who you were asking something of them and they just couldn't step up. Instead they wanted to go have their fun, and they, again, no strings attached. Like, they're like, I don't want to do that. I want to go eat my brain on the beach and surf and have fun and look at hot people. But, you know, that only is satisfying for so long, it feels like, because the next energy I see here is the Four of Cups, which, you know, it's a reminder in a lot of ways to see like there's a lack of appreciation. So again, like looking around and being like, okay, maybe I'm not super happy with things that are around me right now, but I do have appreciation for certain things. This could also be just feeling, like I said, that kind of disconnectedness. It's, man. There's an energy here that I'm picking up on of having made a decision and feeling like in the moment that decision was a lot of fun. Okay, this seemed like a good deal. Whatever this was, if it was like a relationship with another person, if it was, it's kind of feeling relational, but relational could be many different things. It doesn't have to be like a romantic thing. But it does feel like, you know, this person was like, I want to go have my fun. I want to go have my cake and eat it too. This is great. There's no strings attached. We're both aloof. Like no one wants to take accountability. That's like the first thing I heard was like, why won't they take, like, it used to be fun when they didn't take accountability, but now that things are a little bit more serious, I don't really like that attitude they have. I don't really like that they don't appreciate me. I kind of don't like that they take me for granted. I don't like that, like, it's a very heavy focus on everything that is not going right. But like, I laugh because it feels so familiar. It's like when you've been in a really familiar situation for, like, you know, long term. It's hard. It's hard to get up and move. I mean, I can speak from personal experience. Like I said, I've made a very large move recently. It took 2 years to plan. There was a lot of back and forth on where we would land. And the move itself, I mean, that was like a job in itself, to plan that move, to organize it, to get here, to save the money. Like, there was a lot there. But also it's like, I lost my train of thought, so they want me to move on. We're gonna move on. But that's kind of the thing. It's like, now that it's a little bit, like, I don't know why I'm seeing it this way, but it kind of feels like, oh, I saw that hot person. They were super hot, and I really liked the way that they were outgoing and fun, and like there was something about this that felt familiar and felt good and felt right, you know? But like, being comfortable in this sense feels almost like a detriment. It feels like, oh, now I'm growing, right? Like, I'm growing. I'm ready to move out of this. But this other person kind of is just stuck. And I kind of feel like with these cards, especially all together, it feels like a conversation that keeps happening, that doesn't go anywhere. And in some way, interesting. In some way, it feels like there was a need for whatever this was. Like, maybe it was a codependency thing, or even just like, and I don't even mean that in a bad way, but, you know, maybe this person was helping you out in a way, or maybe like everything kind of lined up, fell into place. It gave you something that you didn't have to worry about anymore. This could be a job too. Like a job, a friend, a living situation. But it's like you're just not happy with it anymore. There is something about whatever this situation is that it's like it's time to move on. And it is time to move on, I feel like. Or at the very least, address like look head on that you're not happy about it. Like whatever is happening, like just looking at it and being like, this is how I feel. Whether you talk to other people about it, whether you're just internally processing it, there's something that needs to be addressed. Like, I feel this way, and I'm tired of acting like I don't feel this way. That's how it feels. It feels almost like, I don't really want to share that spirit, but I will. I personally have a, I really don't want to share that. But this is kind of it. This is it, right? So, without going into detail, I personally know that something is for me because if I have a very strong opposition to it, which I'm not talking about like major things like racism and stuff like that, obviously, no. But like in this case, what I'm referring to is tarot's a great example. I had a friend who did tarot, and I remember for years thinking it was so fucking dumb. So, pardon my language. But I did. I thought it was dumb. And then that friend gifted me a tarot deck. And I was like, all right, let me go shuffle these cards and pull one. And I remember pulling like either the Death card or the Tower for my first card, which was kind of like, okay. So I had to look it up. And when I got the tarot deck, I was in a really, I was very unhappy in my relationship, but I was completely unwilling to address the fact that I was unhappy. There was nothing wrong with him. Like, did he have his toxic traits? Sure. We lived together for years. I could have spent my whole life with that guy. Truly, I could have. But was I happy? Like, I was comfortable, but was I happy? You know? And I didn't feel like he loved me. And I was like, I think I'm more deserving. Like, I think I deserve more when in that realm. And it wasn't easy, but the card resonated so much that it scared me, to be honest. Cause I realized like, oh, I'm just like not addressing the elephant in the room. Like, I don't even want to be in this relationship. So why am I like mad at him for not, showing up for our relationship? It ended up kind of being this like, well, once you look at it, there was no way I could look away. And that in a lot of ways is scary. Well, like when there is something in the room that is scary, and that goes for both hating tarot and also that relationship. I had to look at it. I had to look at it and address how I was feeling and thinking. And being okay with like, well, wait, actually, I really like this. This is fun. This is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. That relationship was not fun. So it was like, okay, on one hand, this thing I really hated, I really ended up loving. And also this like thing that I think I love is really something that I just don't want. And that can be tricky. And that can come with a lot of changes. And I don't necessarily see this like upheaval or change of energy, but I just, with the Chariot rounding out the reading, it feels like it's something that needs to be moved on from, or it's something that needs to, like, maybe moving on is not the right phrase, but it's like, if you are feeling a certain way and you want to talk to somebody, or maybe you're not even like at that point yet, just like writing it down, just like getting your thoughts out, or even just going for a drive alone and just talking about it and being like, and I don't like this, and I don't like this, and I like this, but I don't like this. And this is, this is how it's benefiting. This is how it's hurting. This is, like, and just sort of sorting through it. But the first thing you have to do is like, you have to call an apple an apple. You know what I mean? Like, it almost feels like this energy is looking at an apple and being like, that's an orange. It's not. It's an apple. But like, you can't will it to be an orange because you want it to be an orange, if that makes sense. It's like, yeah, just being a little bit honest with yourself, I think. And also, you know, I'm going to give this example too, because I know people come to tarot and have questions about relationships and whatever. So the thing is too, like, this could be a person who you really liked and you went after and you were like, oh my God, I'm so giddy, I'm so excited. And then things kind of got more serious and things got like really different. And then it was suddenly like, oh, this like really isn't the person that I felt like I fell in love. I don't really see, like, the Knight of Wands shows like flighty love to me. So it's like, yeah, this was fun. And yeah, I enjoyed it. But like, then it's like trying to make something work that you're like not even really that into. Like, you don't even like it. So then you're like, well, why am I trying to force something that I don't like? You know, and we all have to do things like that maybe aren't our ideal situation, but it's also important for us to recognize like when there are circumstances we can change. And again, just like being honest with ourselves. With the Chariot being like the last card too, this feels like momentum. It feels like, okay, we don't have to like blow whatever this is up. Okay. We don't have to we don't have to cut people off. We don't like none of that. Because this feels like it could have that sense of like, I gotta get that urgency. I gotta get out of here. But this is like you just recognizing there's something that needs to change and then being able to stay the course to make that change. Now, maybe this is also like I said earlier, needing to have some sort of conversation, needing to send some sort of email, or there is something that you in your heart feels like needs to be addressed. And it feels like that's a sign to do that in a way. Like, yeah, like do whatever that thing is. If it's a creative endeavor, go do it. Like, if you're curious about something, go learn about it. Like, there's something about this is keeping you kind of like still, kind of like, meh, life sucks. But then there's this need for there to be like a more fun energy. But there needs to be an action that's taken, essentially, is how I see it. And I also think that this is an omen. It's a good omen. It's like you're going to get out of this situation. You're going to transmute whatever it is that you're doing, right? But it's also like, try not to leave, a bunch of bodies in your wake. But I also feel like, in a way, it's wanting to get out of a situation that you feel very stuck in a way. But you're not stuck. It might be difficult to navigate or even to take action, but you can make small actions. You can start even just imagining what your life might look like if you were to change things. That is an action. You don't want to get stuck there. That's when this happens. But dreaming is an essential part of any sort of change because you have to dream the change. Like, you can't even conceive it unless you sit down and think about it. And you're like, yeah, I really want this change to happen. But you can't do that unless you think about it. Like, literally addressing the elephant in the room. Like, there is something that I want that I am not allowing myself to want. There's something I want to do that I'm not allowing myself to do. I'm setting up these parameters that seem impossible to reach, by the way. So what's the advice? The advice is to just imagine where it is possible. Take the tiniest step. Like, let's say, I'm just going to use moving as an example because it's fresh in my mind. We knew we wanted to leave Florida. We knew we wanted to leave Florida. We knew we never wanted to stay there. That was always, even before I was married, I knew that, okay? But then I had to think about, well, where do I want to live? And the answer was actually kind of easy for me. It was just colder climate and somewhere that had a nice community feel. And, it ended up, and the first thing I started doing was just looking places up. And that's all I was doing. It felt unobtainable. Like, truly, when the conception of moving started, it did not feel at all doable. But then, the more we looked, the more real it became, the path started to become more clear. Tends to be the case. So in this case, it's even just pondering, being curious, even if it's just daydreaming. If it's like, okay, well, what do I want my life to look like? You know? Yeah, that's kind of what I got for you. I hope that resonates. I feel like I don't know how to end a video anymore, so I'm just gonna end it there. And if it resonates, great. If not, you know, that's fine too. I hope you have a great day. Thank you. Bye.